Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, juicers, to our final session of Juice for this series. We will have another series launching up pretty soon. More details to come on that. But I just want to say thank you for joining us. Those of you that have been here for all three sessions, man, it's been a great cram-packed, full of content sessions thus far from Crystal. And I'm going to hopefully have enough nuggets of insight for you guys. I'm excited to share with you. So my name is Emily Flanagan. I am the second half of Lemon Seed with Crystal, and I'm the creative director here. So I oversee a lot of the branding aspects and all the creative side of things and stuff. So I'm excited to share with you just a different perspective from Lemon Seed on some marketing nuggets. And we're going to have a great session today. So let's go over some things that we're going to talk about today. On our agenda, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the customer journey, okay? Really diving into and being very intentional with what is that process like and thinking like the customer versus just thinking like the contractor, okay? Then we're also going to dive into emails. How can we really maximize the use of our emails? The effort that we're putting forward to it, how can we make the most of that from a creative standpoint, but then also from a sales standpoint. So we're going to dive into that a lot more. And then we're also going to talk about community support. Okay. This is July. Okay. Guess what starts happening in the fall? All the community things. Okay. So we need to start preparing and getting ready for that now so that it doesn't sneak up on us. If we're not prepared for it and doing it ahead of time, guess what? It won't happen. Okay. So now's the time to start being very intentional and really thinking about what is going to be your community engagement. And then right along with community engagement, community support, employee engagement. Okay. Summer is brutal. They're taking a beating. Everyone's stretched to the max and stuff. But what can we be doing to be intentional about reviving and appreciating our team and their families? Okay. We're going to dive into that a lot more. And then if we have some time, I'm going to dive into some branding refreshes. Okay. You're like, what does that have to do with July? Well, actually, July is a perfect time to talk about doing a branding refresh. Trucks are out on the road right now. Everyone is hitting the pavement, hitting it hard and heavy. But you know what? In July, we can actually start to think about how could we refresh this brand, start working on the design process so that when we get to fall, when the trucks are a little bit slower, things like that, we've already got the designs in place. We can roll out what a brand refresh. And so we're going to talk about some benefits and how that can actually help your company. So without further ado, let's sip some lemonade, as we like to say from our podcast. So we're going to dive right in. So it's July. Thank goodness. Okay. This first half of the year has sucked if you live in the HVAC or the contractor world. Okay. The temperatures have been very mild, and finally it's July, and finally the heat is coming out, and we're like, thank goodness. Okay. I know before I got into this HVAC world, no one was ever looking forward to this time of the year. It's always like, this sucks when it's so hot, we can't walk outside. We live in East Texas where the temperature is the same humidity level. So yeah, it's 95 degrees outside and it's 95% humidity. It absolutely sucks. It's terrible. But when you're on the HVAC side of things, that's the best time for business. So we have to be intentional about maximizing these opportunities. So we've got some promises and some slogans here of what we're going to do. So this July, this summer series, we will seize every opportunity. Okay. Remember 3 months ago when the weather was so mild, you're sucking wind. You're like, this sucks. This is terrible. Guess what? Now's the time to shine. Okay. So what are we going to do to maximize and capture every single opportunity? And then to really know if we're maximizing that, you have to know your numbers. Okay. So what are your revenue numbers for July? If you don't already know them, that is a problem. Okay. And if you don't already know how you finished out June, that is a problem as well. So we need to kind of back into it. How many calls are you going to need to meet your goal for July? Okay. We're 5 days in thus far. How many calls have you gotten to this part? Are you on course to meet your numbers? Are you running behind? And then what type of calls are we going to be looking to fill up our schedule? And then diving in a little bit more, we're getting the calls. Are we converting them? Okay. How many were prime opportunities, but we didn't flip the lead to actually sell that new system when it could have been? Okay. And then the next thing that we're going to promise is encouraging higher ticket installs. Okay. Now is the time. We've been sucking wind up until this point, but weather is hot. Weather is creating some demand for us. And so we're going to get into it. Now is the time to make sure that we are booking the call, dispatching for profit, controlling our dispatch board, controlling equipment pricing, and managing our team well. Okay. So as we're kicking up sales and as we're really getting in gear for seizing every opportunity, we have to be super intentional. And so we're going to touch on each of these elements as we really walk through the customer journey. Okay. So it's July. We're ready to go. But you know who else is ready to go? Chuck in the truck. Okay. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay. Those one-man band guys, those guys that just pop up at the beginning of summer and you're like, oh my gosh, he's probably one of your former employees who's like, I can do this better than you. They don't know what they're doing. I'm just going to start my own business. Okay. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay. These Chuck in the trucks are popping up everywhere. And it's so annoying to us clients and contractors who are in this for the long haul. Like, yeah, we're sticking through this, still employing a team, doing this year round in the fall and the spring when it sucks. These Chuck in the trucks, they just like see an opportunity and they think they're big and bad. They got a little bit of money now and they're trying to step on your toes. Okay. They're undercutting prices left and right. So annoying. Okay. But when we can dive into the customer journey and we can build our value, we can win out over these Chuck in the trucks. When we can stay the course, when we can not undercut the prices or it's not a race to the bottom. Okay. Let those bottom dwellers Chuck in the truck and have them. Okay. That ain't for us. Okay. We're going to focus on what we do best, dive into our customer journey, and that's how we will win out and still continue to have business when Chuck in the truck, when he can't make it, into October. Okay. So let's talk about the customer journey. The first step is booking the call. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me talk before we dive into the customer journey. I want to share a good experience, a good customer journey that I personally had. So there's going to be a tale of two selfie booths. Okay. You're like, what is a selfie booth? Okay. When you go to a party and an event and there's like the freestanding thing and like you can go take your picture and they have all the fun props and things like that and cool backgrounds. Well, I'm going to tell a tale of two different selfie booths. So there was one in town. I won't say their name, but I had known them through some chamber events, things like that. They were the first to do this. We booked them for some of the events. Great. No complaints. It works out. They print it out right there on the site. Our team loves it. They're having fun. But it slowly got to get a little bit sloppy. Like as time continued on, like as I'd have a different event, they wouldn't like really check my template until like I'm driving there 20 minutes before the event. And they're like, hey, this doesn't work. Or like, this is cutting out quickly. I'm like, I can't take care of this right now. So they're starting to get sloppy on their customer journey and their customer experience and really kind of started to just rest on their laurels of we were the first in town, we're it. Okay. But let me introduce you to this friend. This friend is named Barb. Okay. Barb with the Big Picture Events. Barb has been super intentional and understands the customer journey. Okay. There for a while, she popped up. I still had the other selfie station that when we would do an event, whether it be for the business or a community thing, or even like a personal birthday party, I still had them there in my back pocket. But Barb was just a little relentless, but in a good way. Okay. So I'd see her all the time on social media, just posting and when I would post things, she would comment back and share the post and really engage with what I was doing personally, what I was doing with Lemon Seed, what my husband's business was doing. She was always there. It's like, look at Barb, just being very intentional and being everywhere. One day she was set up at a coffee shop downtown and it was in the middle of July. And so she just promoted this thing, Christmas in July. She had this Santa Claus there. Those are my two daughters. Okay. We were in the coffee shop. They saw the picture. They're like, we want to take a picture there. And so Barb was just doing these for free at the local coffee shop. I had no intentions of taking pictures today. The kids did. They had a great, one of them, look at the other one, the little one, she's frowning, but that's typical. That's normal. Okay. But Barb was just using this as a way to promote her business. Like, hey, I can do this for your party, for your next event. You can see she put her logo and then a QR code right there. And so Barb has been super intense. She was like, I really should give her a try for our next event. Okay. And that's exactly what I did. Okay. We started booking her for lemon seed things. And it was all of a sudden like, she's got something going on here. Okay. The actual product of what she was doing, the actual cameras between the first company and Barb's company, relatively the same. Okay. They both had the same backdrops, a variety of backdrops. They could both print out pictures on the fly. Okay. Cost, I'd say within $50 of each other. But what made me start winning out and preferring Barb over the first customer? Well, when my event was done, well, first off, leading up to the event, she was printing out test samples beforehand, days before the event, not 20 minutes before the event. She was making recommendations. Hey, I know your party is an Aloha Hawaiian theme. I think this type of backdrop that I have here would work really great. What do you think? And I could just say yes or no. So she was very intentional beforehand. When she got there, actual same great service, things like that. But then her follow-up was so unique. Okay. So she sent me a handwritten thank you note. And then she gave us these little cards of printouts that were like holographic, to where she had this cool thing where she could do a GIF with her photo things, where like take two pictures like instantly and combine them into a gift. Well, she converted this into like this like holographic card thing. So when you tilted the card a different way, it would show one picture versus the other. And it's just like, this is so cool. And you know what she made me feel? She made me feel like I was the only customer she ever had in the whole wide world. Now, I know that's not true, but that's how that made me feel. Okay. She was super appreciative of my business and made me feel like $1,000,000, and did not make me feel like just another time slot on a schedule. Okay. Like the other one might be. Here's a picture from that we took at a lemon seed party. Barb just happened to know that it was my birthday 11 months later, posted this picture on her own social media page and said, hey, wish Emily a happy birthday. Okay. I'm like, she did not have to do that. She really did not. But it was completely unexpected. And how special did it make me feel that she's going to, one, know my birthday, two, go dig up this photo from, 5 months back and then post about it on our own social media. So it was super intentional. Okay. So when you get to the customer journey, the customer starts in a neutral place. Okay. This can either go fantastic or this can either go real negative. Okay. When they come to you, they are completely neutral. Okay. It is our job with every touch point and with every interaction for us to push them over to the fantastic, amazing experience. Okay. Our goal is not to like, well, we kind of suck on that, but we're really good at this. And then I know that needs some improvement, but like we did this really well. And you wind up being neutral. Okay. And what happens then is just really becoming indifferent. Okay. Kind of just like how I've become indifferent with that first selfie station. Our goal is being intentional to walk through this, and how can we convert them to being those raving fans, to being advocates for our company. Okay. So the first step in the customer journey is booking the call. Okay. I don't know how we can stress how important booking the call actually is. It is not simply answering the phone. Okay. It is taking that call, being that personal touch, empathizing with the pain point, and then getting them on the books. Okay. Do your CSRs know the weight that they carry, the value that each call actually is? Do they feel the burden and how they are the make it or break it? If we don't get this call on the books, that's it. Like there's no other rest of the customer journey, because like we couldn't even start with step one. Okay. So, and I don't say that in a threatening manner that we need to be talking to the CSRs as this is make it or break it. It's all on you. No, we need to be saying this in an empowering way. Like, guys, I appreciate you guys so much. Some people may say you guys only answer the phone, but that is not what I think you guys do. You guys are the heroes. You guys set this up and tee it up for the whole rest of the team. You guys are so important. Okay. Sometimes we can kind of forget about those girls in the office that are taking the heat from, it's hard. I'm so oh, calm down, sir. Okay, yes, I'm getting there. They take a lot of heat. Yes, the technicians and the installers, they take a lot being out in the attics, and it's definitely very physically demanding. But it's also very much for the CSR girls too, just in a different way. So how are we being very appreciative to them to empower them so they can continue to book the calls? I think just making yourself seen in the call center room. Hey guys, I know it's going to be a busy day. The weather's looking really hot. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I really appreciate you guys. Keep it up. Okay. Making yourself seen, giving them verbal praise in front of other people. How could you give them a reward? Hey guys, I know it's hot. Here's a $5 Sonic gift card. Everyone go get your favorite drink today. Or it's the start of summer. Here's a t-shirt that says like, CSR heroes of the company or something like that, empowering them, setting them up so that they can book every single call with their opportunity. Okay. The next part of the journey is dispatch. Okay. What does dispatch look like? So for some companies, it might be, your same CSR. You might actually have a dispatch coordinator. But the dispatch person has to be super decision making. Okay. They have to be able to really like push and pull and evaluate. So remember how at the beginning I talked about we're going to dispatch for profit. What does that mean? You're like, huh? Like I got a person available. They're going to go to that call. Okay. This is not a first come, first serve type thing. Okay. If someone calls in and is like, yeah, my system's working, it's just not like super cool. And it's just like running like all the time. So like, can I have someone come out like right away? Well, like, yes, I know you called in 5 minutes before this next person who literally has no air at all. Grandma lives alone and it's 105 degrees outside. We're going to have to prioritize grandma over the, can you just like add some more Freon to this or something? Okay. So we're going to evaluate. So that dispatcher has to be able to know, okay, I need to save up a slot for this. I'm going to schedule this one for tomorrow versus immediacy. Okay. But then also, the right tech at the right time. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if we know a system is 12 years of age, like, oh, here we go. That's the jackpot. That's the gold one. Are we going to send Johnny when it's his first day in his own truck by himself? We love Johnny. Johnny's doing great. He's getting there, but like, we got to seal this deal. We got to seize every opportunity. This is a golden opportunity. So we're going to put that right tech who is maybe we know he can seal the deal. He's going to go to that job. Okay. That salesman, he's going to go to that job. Okay. So the dispatcher, she has a lot of control and power. I say she, it could be a he, whoever it is. This dispatcher is very powerful. Okay. But what's also powerful, so that's on like the back end side for you contractors. But what about from the customer side? How does that dispatcher really play into it and be very meaningful? Well, communication is the key. So how are you communicating with your client? Is it a text message? Is it a phone call? Is it a ringless voicemail? Now, we all love a personal phone call, okay? If your dispatcher could call, hey, Miss Flanagan, our technician is about 30 minutes out. He's on his way, blah, blah, blah. That's fantastic. That's great. However, we know that's a lot of labor burden to actually do that, okay? We know their phones are ringing off the hook, things like that. So that may not feasibly be happening. Okay. But you can also utilize text messages and ringless voicemails. So I know a lot of you guys are paying for Marketing Pro in your Service Titan. Are you actually utilizing it? That's one of the fabulous things about Marketing Pro. You could also use a Chirp or a Hatch. Set up some of those automations to send out the text message or that ringless voicemail. Also, empower your CSRs to prompt the customer of how it's going to happen. So, hey, Mrs. Flanagan, you're going to get a text message that's going to tell you when the technician is coming out, or you're going to get a phone call. You're going to get a voicemail. That lets me know what I need to be looking for. Okay. Now, the communication and being very prompt and actual is one of those things that will help you win out over Chuck in the truck. Okay. Let me give you an example. Call someone, it's a Chuck in the truck. He's like, well, I'll be out there between noon and next Tuesday. Okay, you want to add more stress to this already horrible piece of life. My air conditioner just broke. the rest of my life doesn't stop. Okay. It's summer. My kids are out of school. I'm trying to run to get one, picking up them from the day camp. One of them is trying to go to a friend's house. I need to call my husband, but like, I don't know. Do I need to be at home to like, cause he might be there. And like, we really need to get this fixed. Like I need to sit at home, but like, I've already scheduled the dog at the groomers and like, I have to plan that a month in advance. Like that's happening today too. Like make me rearrange my schedule. And that will already make that pain point of having my AC go out even more stressful. Okay. That is today's society. We are juggling all the things. We have things planned out, reminders, things like that. We can't add another wrench. Okay. But when we do have the wrench, when your dispatcher can empathize with that and understand that, she's going to know, hey, Miss Flanagan, I know you probably got to go pick up the kids. So he's going to be here within the next 30 minutes. Okay. I can plan for that. I can make that work. Okay. So being very communicative is very important. Okay. So we dispatch for profit, not for convenience. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. Okay. The right tech at the right time. So we're dispatching through different ways. Maybe it is that phone call, that text message, a ringless voicemail, whatever it is, be super intentional about it. Okay. Let's talk about the text messages a little bit more. So it can be very simple of just a text. Hey, this is so-and-so. I'm going to be coming out to your home. Some companies like to even add in like a few little fun facts about the technician that's coming out. I will encourage you guys, while that's very personable to the person coming in or to the homeowner, make sure your technician knows what that says. Okay. So if you put that like his hobby is karate on the weekends, and then the homeowner just happens to greet them with like, like, what? Oh, well, I read that you liked karate and that you're a black belt. So like, I just, wanted to, he's like, okay. So they might have some frame of reference to what the customer might be referring to. Also, if you're going to include a picture, like maybe one of this next one, make sure it's an updated picture. Okay. I jumped on a podcast yesterday with a guest who I hadn't actually met in person. I've read his blog, seen him on his website, followed him on LinkedIn. So like I've seen his picture everywhere. I found the like Zoom link, if you will, for the podcast. Am I at the wrong link? Like, it's this person. Okay. He looked absolutely nothing like all the pictures that he has online. Okay. Full on beard that he'd been growing for like at least 5 years. Okay. Like this didn't just happen overnight. And, his hair color is a little bit different, but it was greatly confusing to me. Like I was legit a bit taken aback. Okay. Same thing with the technician pictures. Okay. If you are going to send a picture, make sure that it is updated. Okay. Make sure that your technician knows what you're actually saying about them. There's also some fun ways that you can do it beyond just the actual text of the message. So Appleton Campbell actually sends out these very branded graphics that has their customer tech right there in the middle. And then they send in the body of the text message, if you will, some more details about that technician. There's all kinds of fun and cool ways that you can do this and really maximize it. Again, you can be automating these things through like a Marketing Pro, a Chirp, or a Hatch program that relieves some labor burden. And then especially with Marketing Pro, if you're already paying for it, utilize it, and that will help save you some money. Okay. And we talked about how I'm juggling all the things, and I need you to be on time when you say you're going to be there so that I can arrange for it. Okay. So, actually show up. Okay. That's a problem of a chuck and a truck. They don't always show up. Okay. Or it is between like now and next Tuesday. Okay. So showing up on time is very crucial. How is your technician going to show up? Well, first they're going to knock. Okay. Why are they going to knock versus ringing the doorbell? Well, like that's what neighbors do. Like if I'm going to my neighbor's house, I'm just going to do a friendly knock. Okay. I'm not ringing the doorbell. It's a simple little thing that adds that personal touch for that already awkward, inconvenient experience. It's just softening that blow a little bit more. Okay. He's also going to show up with his shirt tucked in, and his truck is very clean. Okay. If he rolls up in a truck that's looking like he went mudding at Bonita Creek last week and there's mud everywhere. Okay. And his shirt's untucked. And when he opened the door, a dip can and a McDonald's cup fell out. It's like, trusting that like you are the most expert in this. I'm like, are you really going to be able to like fix my system? Because like right now you got your boots shotgunning and stuff. Like So we're not going to do that, okay? He's going to show up in a tucked in shirt, a branded polo, nice pants. He doesn't have to look completely dirt or spot free. Okay, we understand he's working. He might have a little dirt on his pants, but it's not going to be overly excessive. Okay. But he's going to knock and then he's going to introduce himself. Okay. He's going to say his name. He's going to approach it very friendly because probably he's working with a woman. Probably the wife or the mom or whoever is going to be the one that's going to have to be at home to meet the technician that way. Okay. And so all of these elements, those simple little things, those are little ticks on our scale, if you will, that can lead us towards a good or a bad experience. And then how are they presenting options to the client? Okay. So, it's already a tough situation. We need to always be making a repair recommendation. Okay. Regardless of how expensive that repair is. If your guy comes in and immediately condemns the unit, you are immediately seeming like a sleazy little sales guy that only wants to sell me a new system. He doesn't even want to try to fix it. Like he's only going to sell me a new system. When you provide options, you can provide a repair option. We're going to have to repair the whole thing. It's going to cost you just as much, but we're providing that option. And we're also going to provide the options of what a new install would be like. Okay. But what this does is this gives control to the customer, to the homeowner. Okay. They are able to make their own decision. Do they want to repair it, whatever that might be, or do they want a new install or a partial install, a full install, what that is? That gives the control and the ball in the court of the homeowner. Okay. It helps ease that blow, and it helps that salesman appear more genuine. Like, I'm just trying to look out for your best options. Okay. Now, how are they actually presenting it? Okay. Is it like handwritten on a piece of paper with like dude chicken scratch? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the guys who can, my 7-year-old can write better than that. Okay. Is that what they're presenting to the customer, to whatever their options are? Or is it on like an iPad or an actual sales presentation, nice printed booklet, whatever that looks like? Be very intentional in what that is. And then like, has your salesman or technician, whoever it is, how have they been trained on this? Like, are they fumbling through it? Like, I'm not really feeling it. Like, are they fumbling through it, or do they feel very confident about their options that they're presenting? So be very intentional about the ways that you're presenting and how you're presenting to them. Okay. So we're going to always present a repair option because that gives the customer the control. So let's say we do give them the options and they do decide on a replacement. Okay. You do not have to undercut your prices so low. Okay. There's the chuck in the trucks, those bottom dwellers that are racing to the bottom for that. Okay. Now that we're actually hot, you are actually like in demand. Okay. You can charge what you need to charge. You don't have to give away the farm because we already have the demand. The weather is creating the demand for us. Okay. And we're already doing all these other steps. We're actually showing up. We're being very courteous and kind. We're being very cleanliness when we show up. Okay. Those are all leading up to the value of why I can charge what I can charge. Okay. But there are still options that you can offer to the homeowner. Okay. Let's talk about manufacturer rebates. Okay. I know a lot of contractors are hesitant to take advantage of them because they're like, all the paperwork and stuff, but that's an option and an incentive that you can offer to the homeowner without it having to come out of your pocket. Okay. You're not having to actually give the discount or fork out any money or actual cash back. Let the manufacturer take that burden. Okay. If you're not already doing that, just start with like your top tier series. Okay. Hey, I'm only going to offer the rebates for my top tier series. Okay. And I'm going to start with figuring out how to file the paperwork and things like that before I expand it into everything. Okay. There's ways you can ease into it, but it'll really help your bottom dollar, your bottom line, and it'll provide more options for the customer. Okay. Summer is also a great time to push your financing offers. Okay. Is that a 0% interest for whatever? Is that a no payments for 3 months? Or is it a PAYLA offer, as we like to call it, payments as low as $89 a month? Okay. financing can be a great offer, again, without much money coming out of your pocket, okay? Now, we do need to talk about the buy downs, all right? So you can't be giving away the farm, maybe making it too lucrative of a deal, okay? So when you're working with your financing company, maybe like a Green Sky or a Good Leap or Synchrony, that needs to be one of those relationships that you got that phone number on speed dial. You're working with that representative from that company, like, hey man, what do you got going on this way? Really being able to talk through that, come up with kind of some creative ways of how you can do that. So maybe it's not 0% interest for 60 months that you're gonna have to do a 20% buy down on, because like 20%, like there's your whole profits right there. Okay. Like it's gone in doing that. But how could you maybe work it to where like it's a 12 months, no interest, okay? Or it's a no payments for 3 months. So get through the end of summer with your vacation cash. You won't have to make payments for the next 3 months. Get through back to school, buying the school supplies, all that stuff, okay? Working with your financing company, with the representatives, will create some good options that you're not going to lose the farm out on, but it's not always so hard cash back from you, okay? But then also, what could be a gift with purchase? Okay. Why would we do a gift with purchase? It's so we can provide a seemingly high value something. Okay. Maybe it's a TV, a fire pit, a grill. Maybe it's an indoor air quality system. We'll get there in a little bit. But I need something with a high perceived value that might help push me over the edge to sell that next higher system. Okay. Well, we're not offering the free TV on this one, but if you go to this one, it will not only help your energy bill, but you'll also get this free TV, this 65-inch TV. Oh, you know what? I have been needing a new TV. Ours in the bedroom is going out. This one might be good. And you know what? It might help just push them over the tipping point to a higher system. Okay. That's how we're going to increase average ticket sales. Okay. Now, I mentioned IAQ for a little bit. IAQ can be great when you're actually like in the home, okay? It's not as super sexy or appealing when you're like doing your marketing offers as a Payla offer or 0% interest, like free indoor air scrubber, like some people may not exactly know what to do with that. But when you're actually in the home and you're actually talking about their system and like you see like, hey, they actually do have pets or they actually do have allergies, things like that. An indoor air quality unit can be a great thing. Hey, buy a UV light, get one for free. Okay, here's this BOGO offer on an indoor air quality. Again, that might be another way to have an extra tipping point. And I would say that though, for when you're actually in the home, it's not quite as much of a marketable offer that you're going to promote everywhere. Okay. So we presented them the options. They've made the options and they've decided to do a replacement. Now you're going to do the work. Okay. This is where I think a lot of customers rest on their laurels. Okay. They can side or just get by, do just enough on everything leading up to doing the work. Because like we've been doing this for so many years, 30 years. I've been doing this since I'm way more experienced. I know more. I can handle any unit, blah, blah, blah. Resting your laurels on your work. Okay. Remember how I was talking about that first selfie company resting their laurels on that? Someone else has just as good a work and they've done all the other little things leading up to it. Okay. Let me share with you a bad customer experience I've had recently. Okay. So my husband and my daughter were going out to dinner one night. Okay. We walk in and the hostess says, "How many?" I said, "Hi, how are you?" And she's like, "Oh, hi, how many?" I'm like, "3. Okay. But I had to remind her to greet me. Okay. Like, strike. Okay. We're one step on this negative thing. Okay. So she gets the menus. She walks us to our tables. And I don't know why, but I could not help but notice how many dirty tables there were as she's walking us to ours. And I'm not talking about like a few crumbs or like they missed a napkin under the table. I'm talking about like plates stacked up, food half eaten sitting on there. And I was just like, gross. Like, and I'm not a former restaurant manager or even like a server or anything like that. That's just like hones in on weird things like that. Like I'm just a person who goes out to eat. And I noticed the number of dirty tables sitting out there. Okay. So I'm already like gross. Okay. I'm sitting across from my husband and literally this whole row of booths next to me is 3 tables of stacked up plates, foods. And it's just gross. It's just this distracting as I'm trying to have a conversation. So I'm already, another strike towards the bad end of the spectrum. I'm ready for our server. She's a little bit late. Maybe the time that she took to get there has been compounded because of these already bad experiences. I don't know. I still think she took too long to get to us, but those other things were leading up to it and making it feel like even longer. Things were starting to annoy me even more. She got there. She was super nice. She was super friendly. She took our order. She repeated it back to us. It was all correct. Okay. All right. It took a little while for the food to come out. When she brings the food, she brings us plastic silverware from the to-go station. And she goes, I'm sorry, we don't have any clean silverware. So here's the plastic. Well, I'm like, no crap, you don't got any clean silverware. They're all on the tables right here next to me. Okay. By the time this had all happened, that food didn't stand a chance. Okay. Even if that food was the most delicious tasting, the most phenomenal meal paired together, that food didn't stand a chance. Okay. Because of all of these things leading up to it. Okay. Yes, she was problem solving. Yes, I was still able to eat the food with the plastic fork and knife. It still worked. I still got fed. But I was so turned off. Okay. Everything had compounded to that, to where it made that final experience, the food, I was just done with it by the end. Okay. And so I think a lot of you guys are resting on your work, your food, if you will, that's just going to win out and make everything better. But understand the customer journey and how every little touch point is a tick towards one scale or the other. Okay. So you can't rely on just your work alone to be your saving grace, or to create a raving fan to put you all the way at the end of the scale to that raving fan. Okay. So doing the work, you do the work. It's a fantastic job. What is your follow-up? What is your making sure the customer is actually satisfied? Is it a happy call? Is it another text message? Is it another home visit? Is it a free gift? Whatever that is, you need to make sure that you actually do have something, okay? Remember how I said Barb made me feel like I was the only customer she had ever had, even though I knew that wasn't true, but she made me feel like that, okay? We need to make sure our customers feel like that too, okay? They've invested a lot of money into this new system. They didn't want to spend this money. It is not fun to buy a new air conditioning system, okay? How can we be empathizing with them, and how can we be thankful and grateful? They're not just another time slot on our sheet that we were able to book up and fill in July, okay? They're an actual person. So that might be a phone call, or it's an actual gift for purchase, or all the above, okay? Utilize some great things like To Your Success that will have branded cups with your company logo on there, like nice Yeti tumbler type cups, with some fresh baked cookies. They house the cups, they store everything, they bake the cookies, they box it up and ship it to the customer. You don't have to do a thing, okay? You're not having to box it up, you're not having to type out the shipping label, you're not having to store them in your warehouse, things like that. They take care of all of that for you. There's also things like the Client Giant, or get some automations that can take care of that gift part for you, and then you focus on the actual happy call itself. Okay. So you might think like, yay, we've done the work. We've got a satisfied customer. I've touched base. I've made sure they're happy. I've asked for the review. And how are you asking for the review? Okay. So do you have a QR code, like a big one, like a big nice card that's already printed, or do you have a small card that you can hand out to that immediately takes them to a link to leave a review? Is it going to come through in an email or in another text message? Okay. When you can ask for the review, one, that's going to help our ratings and help our SEO performance. Okay. But it'll also just help make sure that we can get any feedback of reasons how we could improve. All right. But you need to be prompting them and telling the customer what they can expect. Okay. So is it just the card right here? Hey, I would love for you if you scan it now after I leave, or later tonight when you're sitting down to do this. Or, hey, you're going to be getting a text message. It's going to have a link to leave us a review. I would really appreciate if you did that. We want to take great care and good service for you. So please just let us know how we did. Or is it going to be in an email? Go ahead and prompting those customers of what they should be expecting is another element to this customer journey. Okay. So say we've done all that. We've gotten we've done the work. The customer is happy. We've gotten the 5-star review. We've called them. We've said, thank you. The gift is in the mail. We're done. Right. No, not yet. Okay. There's another element that I think is so forgotten, is actually cultivating this customer relationship. Okay. This is the piece that goes so unnoticed. Okay. Remember 3 months ago when you were sucking wind? Okay. The weather wasn't creating demand for you. You had to tap into that existing customer base, okay, to survive, to make it through. Okay. If you're not going to be intentional to talk to those people, to foster that relationship, to earn the right to be their guy, like, oh, your system's down, I've got a guy. You know what I'm talking about? You have to earn that right to be their guy. So you have to foster that relationship. Okay. So what does that look like? What does that look like after you've sold the system? You've done the deal. Okay. It's very hard to sell a maintenance club program with a new system, I think, but I think there's a great opportunity on the 1-year anniversary. Okay. So set up some automations. Are they going to get an email? Are they going to get a postcard? Are they going to get a phone call? What is that? But do a 111 campaign. So happy first birthday to your new system. Get your first month free or first month for $1 when you sign up for our maintenance club program. You're having this program is going to keep your documented warranty in check. Okay. So that it can maintain your warranty should anything ever go wrong. And you're going to have these systems, these perks all added to it. Okay. That's another great reason when I see like, oh, I've got to have this to keep my warranty in check. That's saying something to me. Okay. And then I'm also going to get these other benefits. It's a harder sell right at the time a year ago because I'm already investing so much money. I wasn't planning to do it. But now that a year's gone by, I can afford $19.99 a month. Okay. I could do that. I know a lot of contractors, a maintenance club system is not anything new to any of you guys. Okay. I think you guys understand the value of having that reoccurring revenue come in every single month, having work to do for your guys in the spring and the fall, whether that's a tune up, a checkup, an inspection, whatever you call that. I think you got that. You're like, okay, yes, I know I need to do that. And yes, we're actually kind of doing a pretty good job on that. We sell a lot of memberships. We incentivize our CSRs or our technicians to sell them. But I think there's one element that is super undervalued in the maintenance club program. Okay. And that is when you're doing those spring inspections or tune-ups, things like that, if you can identify a problem in that unit that would for sure be a problem come July, if you can identify that in March or April, you can fix it then and essentially get that person off the street, if you will. Okay. Because that's gonna be a problem in July. They're gonna call you because you've earned the right to be their guy. Okay. And you're gonna have to take care of them because they're on your maintenance club program. Okay. They get priority service as we've sold them. And you want to keep that. So you're gonna have to take care of them. But if you could find that problem and take care of them in March or April, that leaves a spot open in July for a new customer, okay? So that we can start this whole thing all over again with a brand new customer, okay? So not only is the reoccurring monthly revenue an incentivizing part of why you should have maintenance club programs, being able to identify problems and get them off the street, if you will, is another huge one that contractors can't be sleeping on, okay? So I want to dive into emails now a little bit. Okay. We've kind of started talking. You've heard me mention like send out an email. Is this an automated email? Things like that. But emails don't have to be just the automated ones. Okay. There's definitely some types that we can use. That's the non-automated that we're going to send out as a blast, that we're going to be very intentional marketing emails, if you will. So these do not and should not be super salesy all the time. Okay. No one wants to be sold to. Sometimes it's a necessity to let them know what you do, but like also no one cares that much about HVAC equipment. I'm sorry. I know I said it, but like we know it's just not super sexy. It's not like the Lululemon emails that I get all the time or the deals from Pizza Hut, whatever that might be, those like impulse buys that like, oh, they launched a new color. I've got to have that new color. Like I'm going to buy it. It don't quite work the same with HVAC equipment. Okay. So let's shake things up to not be super salesy, to be somewhat entertaining. How can they be informative? How can they be relevant? And then how can you also be a resource? Okay. Here's 4 different ideas, 4 different pillars, if you will. You could do one of these a week. Okay. And that would build you out a full month's content of emails. Okay. If you've never done emails before, just start with one. Okay. Start with a newsletter type email and then work your way up to this. But there's definitely content. People often are afraid of emails. Like, what am I going to say? Like, I know I have this offer, but like you just said, like, don't be super salesy. So like, I don't know what else to do. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Let's talk about an entertaining aspect. Okay. So this is a client, Colonial. They sent out this email for Father's Day. And so in their logo, they have this Minuteman. Okay. He's very colonial, very New England, revolutionary, that type aspect. Well, they could have just sent out an email that said Happy Father's Day. Like, great, we did that. Okay. But they took some opportunities to make it branded and make it unique to them and also celebrate their own team. So Happy Father's Day. You don't have to be a Minuteman to be our hero. Okay. Who's our hero? Our dads. And then look at some of the dads from our team. Here's them with their kids, things like that. Okay. And then here's some revolutionary dad jokes. So what's a soldier's least favorite month? March. How come there's no knock knock jokes about America? Because freedom rings. And did you hear the joke about the Liberty Bell? It's all cracked up. It cracked me up. Okay. So those are all kind of corny. They're definitely dad jokes, if you will. But see how they're all kind of geared towards that colonial, that revolutionary, that very on brand aspect. Okay. They saw an opportunity to make something unique and make that really branded. Okay. Make it somewhat entertaining and highlight their team. Okay. You can also kick off an email with a big meme. So what's going to kind of like, when I see the email pop up, like catch my attention to where I might start scrolling a little bit more. When was the last time your filter was replaced? Like, I don't know, or if your cat reminds you of, if this cat looks like your filter, like you should probably change it. Okay. Those are some of those quick reminders of what they should be doing monthly. That's kind of building some value, a tip to reminder, but it's entertaining enough to make me halfway stop and read it and catch my eye. Okay. You can also be very informative in your email process. So what does that mean? That can be like tips to beat the summer heat, or tips for taking care of your home or your lawn in this brutal heat. Maybe it's even like 5 local places for your kids to go this summer. So we have the Forestry Museum and then Iran Home Museum, and then there's this new local ice cream shop. So what are those 5 things? How can you be informative? Maybe you can also be sharing some benefits in that. So I know the Canadian wildfires is a big concern for a lot of clients up in the north. The indoor air quality is kaput. It's heartbreaking. But what are some benefits to an indoor air quality, and how can that help counteract the poor quality from the Canadian fires? Or maybe it's something like that's very industry specific to be informative. Maybe it's about the variable refrigerant flow system technology that's kind of starting to pop up and create some buzz. I would try to kind of like hold out to some of those to maybe like once a quarter, if you will, because they can be somewhat boring, if you will, and like not everyone cares about it. But what it does do is serve the purpose as making you the authority, making you the expert, making you the one that is forthcoming and up on all the things, so they know you're going to always take care of them. You're not going to be 5 years back, not up on all the efficiency things that are happening nowadays. You're building that authority and that expertise just by sending those out once a quarter, if you will. And then maybe you could send out a like relevant email. What do I mean by that? Well, like what's relevant happening inside of your company and your community? So like in your company, it might be like, have you won some awards? Did you win the Best of Lufkin in your local town? Did you win the Trailblazer Award from your best practice group that you're a part of? Did you win the best place to work? Those are all things that are relevant and buzzworthy. Okay. Have you just launched a new jingle or a new mascot? Okay. Talk about it. Okay. Do a little campaign. Find the new bear, find the bear out in the community. Have you heard our new jingle? Sing it back to us and submit it to us on social media. We'll send you a free gift card. Create some own buzz. Like, have you heard? Have you seen? Okay. Help create some of that own spark for yourself. Okay. Is it something about an employee? Did they just get promoted internally to a new position, or did they just get added to the board for this local nonprofit, or are they the chairperson of this board? That's a great way to highlight your team. That makes it relevant, but it's also intriguing to a consumer, to a homeowner, to might read some of that. You've got to show off your culture. Okay. Maybe some more relevant things would be showing the employee party that you just hosted. We're going to get into that a little bit later here. Or your employees that went to a banquet for a local nonprofit. What was that fundraiser like? Or maybe here's them volunteering at the Humane Society, at the food bank, whatever that is. Show that off, okay? Maybe it's something relevant with the time of the year. So like it's July, 4th of July was yesterday. Lots of people grilling. I know we were out grilling. Your lead installer, Jimmy, he has a fantastic marinade, and he actually won the best steak of Angelina County. Show off his recipe. Show off him and his recipe. It's relevant to your company, and it's a little bit something different. And these emails are staying top of mind to people, okay? Is every single person going to print out the recipe and grill it? No. Okay. Should a few of them? Maybe. And then maybe if you incentivize them, like, hey, if you actually do it, take a picture, tag us on social media, we'll send you a $15 gift card. Give them some incentive. But the main purpose of these emails is to stay top of mind, to have multiple touch points so that you can cultivate that customer experience and that journey. Okay. You've got to create your own buzz. Okay. So create good PR worthy things. Talk about yourself. Remember that sliding scale of the customer experience that can go really bad or can go really good. And each little tick mark is, or each little step is a tick mark towards that scale. Kind of same thing in your PR. Okay. So if we can be very proactive to talk about all the good things and just keep us making up to where we have an excellent public perception, things are going great. That looks like a fantastic place to work. When something bad does happen, and it's going to happen, okay, it just is, okay, it's going to happen to all of us. When you've already done the work and been proactive to say all those good things, when the bad thing happens, it either doesn't seem as severe or it dies down a lot sooner, okay? If you start neutral and then you have only the bad on your side, it's going to drag out and it's going to seem more seemingly bad for way longer, okay? So be intentional about telling your own story, creating your own buzz, and that can help you in numerous different ways, okay? But also be relevant in your community, okay? So what is congratulatory? Is it a new bill that's been passed? Like in Lufkin a few years ago, they were trying the pennies for pennies. And so they needed this new law or bill to be passed so they could literally just swap some pennies. But by doing that, it would create this amazing thing and they'd be able to rebuild the middle school. Well, when that did happen, there's really no downsides to it. They just had to get all the word out and things like that. When that happened, that was like actually worth celebrating. That was something that was very relevant in our community that everyone was talking about. We as a company can celebrate that as well too. Maybe it's the Little League team in your hometown is going to the World Series, or they went to state, or whatever that is. Being relevant to what's happening, what's exciting in the community, give them a congratulatory, send out a special thundering 13% off, add a coupon in there if you feel like you need a little extra uptick in some buzz and stuff. So being relevant about your company and your community is a great topic or pillar for emails, okay? I'm not doing a great job of moving my slides. I'm very sorry. So being relevant, but then also like being a resource. So yesterday was 4th of July, obviously, and Lufkin has the annual 4th of July fireworks at the zoo. Okay. It's something that's been around since I've lived in Lufkin for the past 20 years. It's always been there, but how can it be a resource to kind of be in touch with like what's happening? So, hey, we're going to see you out at the zoo. The doors open at 2 p.m. The live music from Jackson Wendell and Sam Shupak kicks off at 5, and then the fireworks show at 9. all of a sudden you become a resource. So like when I'm thumbling through my emails, oh, okay, yeah, music starts at 2:00 or 5:00. When I'm talking with my husband later, like, yeah, we want to go see them. What time? Oh, I saw McWilliams and Son said that it starts at 5:00. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we'll make sure to be there by 4:30. Okay. Being that resource is just another little touch point that's some added value to them. Okay. Also throw in if you're going to be there at the event. So, hey, make sure to stop by our selfie booth station. Okay. Get free pictures, but then we're also going to be doing a drawing for a speaker. Okay. Make sure to stop by, get your picture and enter into the drawing for this really cool speaker. Show a picture of the speaker. Okay. You're kind of maximizing on that. And then how can you look for opportunities to partner? So partnering with your chamber to be that resource. What is the pulse on all the events that are happening? What are the fundraisers that are happening? Maybe that's partnering with a nonprofit or something that you're very passionate about. We're going to dive into that a little bit more. Or it is things that are going on about the chamber, okay? Being a resource and something relevant is going to be another touch point that's going to cultivate this customer experience. And it's another way to not be super salesy or even kind of boring, okay? So that I want to dive in next to community involvement. Okay, so we kind of talked about how those last two emails can kind of tie into community involvement. I'm going to try to advance my slide here. Oh, we've got to have the right expectations and intentionality for emails. Okay. Again, we've already said one of the reasons why we're doing emails and creating these pillars is so that it will be top of mind. Okay. So that we will be cultivating that relationship, so that we will be continuing to earn the right to be their guy, to be that customer's guy. Okay. If you haven't done anything for the customer that you just did that new install for, they're not on your maintenance club, you haven't done another tune-up for them, you've had absolutely no touch point in the last 2 years, they're not really yours anymore, okay? When something does happen or they do need something, they're back up for grabs, okay? The Chuck and the trucks or even like the legit competitors, they're back up for them, okay? You didn't maximize and cultivate to keep them as yours, okay? So being very intentional about the emails is one way to further that, but then also having the right expectations. So should you be selling 18 new systems off this email that launched? No. Okay. Would that be fantastic? Yes, it would. Has it happened? Not 18 systems, but we did have a client that was very skeptical. Like, I don't know about emails. Like everyone gets so many emails, do they even read them? The first one we sent out, it was very offer based and he sold 2 new systems, $18,000 in revenue. He's like, okay, I'm a believer. You know, that's not going to be the case with every single email you send out. Okay. If you sold 2 new systems on every email, that'd be fantastic, but that's not the reality. Okay. But knowing that these emails aren't necessarily to serve an exact ROI, but more as a touch point and a branding play and a top of mind awareness and a being there and a cultivating and fostering that relationship, that's what it's about. So every now and then, can you actually make some money off of the emails? Yes, that's fantastic, but that's not ultimately what our expectation of it should be. Okay. So we talked in those last few emails how it can kind of correlate with the community. And so let's talk about community involvement. Okay. A lot of times people are like, there's just so much money. Okay. Like everyone's coming at me, asking for money. And in reality, you really should set aside some money in your budget for community involvement. Okay. We would recommend a 1% spend. So if you're $1 million company, that would be $10,000 for the year. Okay. That you're going to somehow incorporate into community supports, whether that's with a nonprofit, a fundraiser that correlates with you, a sponsorship, whatever that is. If that's too much for you, start at a 0.5%. Okay. Get started and then you can work your way up to that. All right. So we know whenever you open a business, it just seems like money is growing on trees and everyone is asking for it and they want their little bitty piece. And everyone thinks you're Oprah, like you get $500 and you get $1,000 and anybody that walks in the door is getting their sponsorship or their request from us. Okay, like we know we can't do that. Okay, but how can we set some parameters that will help us say yes to the right ones so we can say no to the ones that won't help us? Okay, I'm going to add in one little nugget here. One of the greatest things we did, because we're hit up all the time for things, is putting a form on our website that says, hey, if you're a 501c3, like if you're an actually filed nonprofit, submit your request, whatever that is, $1,000 sponsorship, whatever, submit that online. And so that weeds out a ton of people already. Okay. So maybe they're just so-and-so raising money for t-shirts. They're not an actual 501c3. Hey, we have to have that just for our reporting purposes, for our taxes. That'll weed them out. Okay. And then also, how bad do they really want it? Are they going to take the time to go online and fill out the form to actually like submit their request? Okay. That weeds out a ton of extraness all the time. Okay. Because we know the Diboll lumberjack cheerleaders are coming by to sell yearbook ads. Okay. And the Little League team is trying to go to Florida and they're selling barbecue plates. Okay. And all the things. And so we're doing a t-shirt fundraiser because they just got diagnosed with cancer. They're all meaningful causes. There's their place for them and stuff. But we as the business, we're not the money on trees. We're not Oprah. Okay. We can't make it happen for everybody. So be intentional about your community involvement. And how does that tie back to your brand story? Okay. What does that mean? So maybe it's like based off of a color that you have in your brand. So we have a company that they own the color pink, like they dove all in. Everything is pink. They've got a jingle. The pink Vantex do the job best. They're rocking pink uniforms. They have stood out and done amazingly, but they've decided like, hey, we want to support causes that kind of directly were already correlating with pink. So like October and the Susan G. Komen Foundation for breast cancer, that's their one that they're going to own and dominate and completely support it. They have a direct reason of why they can kind of tie that in. Okay. Maybe it's something personal, like how Alzheimer's has affected your family story or the owner's story, or we've seen a customer who his wife has a disease and the ribbon for that one is a bright blue. And so when he did a rebrand, he wanted to do bright blue as his company. And then they call their team the Blue Crew, and they donate $5 from every membership sold to that organization that directly helps that specific disease that she has. That's how you can say like no to the baseball team going to Florida, because, hey, we focus all of our efforts on this Hodgkin's lymphoma thing that we donate to this. Okay. It gives you an out, but it's also retelling your brand story. Okay. Maybe it's something around your mascots. Like if you have an animal or a dog in your mascot, do you support the Humane Society? Or do you have all-stars? Like is your all-stars in your name? Or maybe you call your team the all-stars. Maybe then you do support the little league. Okay. Maybe you're the one that's going to like sponsor the new build out of their fields, or maybe you're sponsoring the Special Olympics. Okay. How can you relate that all-starness that you have in your brand and tie that into your community involvement? I'm going to take a little sidestep here and talk about a rebrand that we've done for this client called Green Street. So he came to us. Love him, Bryce. And this logo on the left here was his logo. And so we're like coming on, he's starting with Lemon Seed, he's coming on, and we're like trying to figure out the brand. So like, what are we going to do on social media for him? And like, how are we going to suggest how he should be involved in the community? And like, this kind of looks like a transportation, like logistics shipping type company. And no one knows what HVAC is. Okay. Like the average world does not know what that is. So we're like, we kind of like do a better job of like telling a story. So as we're talking to Bryce and trying to like dig out these nuggets of information from him, we find out that Bryce is a veteran. And he says, it's one of my personal goals to meet every veteran in my county. And he's like, and I do a lot of, I personally lead a group support for PTSD for veterans at my church. Like, that's just something that's very important to me. It's like, ding, 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 ding. It's like, that's it. That's the story. That's how we can build this whole brand story. Okay. So we'll take the green, we'll make it military green. Okay. And we're going to create this friendly little soldier Sam, and he is at your service. Okay. It's all of a sudden created something memorable, but it goes directly to what was important to him, how he was already involved in the community, how he was already passionate about some of these causes. And we're bringing that into his brand and applying it to all aspects of his company, his marketing, everything. Okay. So this is how we rewrapped his truck. Super friendly, the at your service. We even incorporated the street into there, but it's very bright. You can't miss it. We rebranded his maintenance club. We developed this little German Shepherd dog that we named Cadet. So we have Cadet's Comfort Club. You can see how cute and branded it is, but it's all of a sudden way more memorable and way more sellable to say like, hey, I'm a member of Cadet's Comfort Club, then I signed up for the XYZ preventative maintenance program. Like, no one cares about that, okay? But you're all of a sudden telling a story here, okay? The military aspect also provides lots of ways that we can reiterate that, but in creative, memorable ways. So comfort at your service. And you can see this billboard like left, 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 right, left. We've got comfort at its best, and so it's memorable, okay? That's what branding is designed to do, to help you stand out from all the Joe Blows out there, to help you nudge up the competitors, to help you win over that time of need service. Like when they don't need you right now, how have you been playing in their mind and standing out to them? So whenever they do need you, 1 year, 5 years, however long down the road, you're memorable and you're the first one that they think of so that you can capture it, okay? So I took a little side thing on there, but that's how you can create a whole brand and how that can play into your community involvement, okay? And then once you do that, you have to own it, okay? When I'm talking about that, you're not just gonna throw money at the events or at the organization. You're going to show up to the events. You're going to provide people. Your own employees are going to go and volunteer at it. They're going to go and work the event. They're going to show up as the volunteer. They're going to collect the money. They're going to bring the bags, whatever it's going to do. You're going to have a booth at these events, okay? Get a tent, get a tablecloth, get some fun signs going up that's going to relate to what are you going to give out, things like that. You can do all of this for relatively inexpensive. You can get a really nice pop-up full color sublimated tent for $800 to $1,200. Comes in a carrying case. You can carry it with you to everything. Creates a great presence. You can get a branded tablecloth for $200 or less, okay? When you're being intentional, there's no use in doing it if you're not going to really do it, okay? So really own it. Dive into it, okay? And then get some actual like swag items. What are some things that you can give away? So like, please do not just buy things for the sake of buying things, okay? So like a stress ball or a pen or a USB drive. Think of ways of how you can make that more zesty, how you can liven that up, okay? I'm not looking for you to just go spend money for it to sit in the closet and you have no idea like what event you could ever use that at. And like, it's nothing specific or branded to you. And like, I knew we got this new logo. So like, I was just going to have it like printed on something. So like, I got these stress balls and it's like, okay, well, how can you be a little bit more creative with that? So maybe instead of just a circle ball, we have a client, they have a mascot that's a gorilla. So we're going to get banana stress balls. Okay. Banana squeezies. Okay. So much more fun and memorable. Instead of handing out a plain pen, we're going to have these superhero pencils because we have a superhero GVP man as our mascot and he's showing up to the event. But then also here for the kids, here's a pencil that has a cape eraser on it. And it's like, that is all of a sudden so much more memorable. Okay. Kids, they see one, oh my gosh, where'd you get that? I got that from that booth over there. They're going to come running. You know who's right behind the kids running towards your booth? The mom. Okay. How can you collect her information? Are you doing some type of giveaway? Hey, we're giving out these free pencils, but we're also giving away this giant speaker, this iPad mini, this Apple Watch, whatever that might be. Enter us in your email, drop it here, and we're going to be giving that out at the end of the event. Okay. Maybe it's addressing a need that people have. So at the air show, we had one in last August. It's hot. Remember how I mentioned it's 95 degrees and 95% humidity. Okay, it's hot. Okay. Everyone was looking for something to like fan themselves with. Well, we already knew that it was going to be hot. Okay. So we had these custom little fans printed with Easy Flow's little character, Finny the fish. He helps keep your flow going, makes it easy. And so the little fans just say, I'm a Finny fan. Which like, it's kind of punny, like it's actually a fan and it's like a Finny fan, but then like you're a fan of Finny and of Easy Flow plumbing and stuff, but it addressed the need. It addressed the need to cool down and became something memorable. Maybe you are in that sports or all-star type thing. What could be a need that people have at the ball field? It could be a fan just like this, but maybe it's one of those foam seat cushion covers, okay? They're sitting on the metal bleachers. How can you address that need that they have? Hey, we're giving out free seat pads, okay? Being creative and being intentional with like, where are these swag items going to go? And then how can I relate it to my brand? And then that's what I want you to stock your closet full of, okay? That's what I want you to print your new logo on and stuff. It's retelling that story, but it's providing that element that makes you super engaged with whatever organization you are actually working with, okay? And then when we partner with something or we're the presenting sponsor, we are going to promote the heck out of it, okay? I'm talking on social media, on our emails, on our website. We're going to work our vendor relationship with our radio, the person who sells us our radio. Hey, can we get some airtime just to talk about this backpack drive that we're going to do coming up next fall? And we're going to do all the social media posts. We're going to do lives leading up to it. And then the day of, talking about our emails, we're going to promote the heck out of it. But then also when you partner with other organizations, you can tap into their customer database. Okay. So finding out, hey, how can we get in touch with them? Because we're going to be promoting this event that we're sponsoring, okay? Or we're going to give an exclusive offer or discount to them that way. Looking for those partnerships and those relationships will help you maximize this, okay? And then also be thinking about like, how can it be somewhat like press worthy or newsworthy, if you will? So if it's something fantastic, like doing a backpack drive or a new system giveaway, things like that, write a press release about it. And before and after, okay? So beforehand, hey, we're going to be doing it. Here's how you can contribute. Here's how you can sign up for it. Here's how you can do it. We're going to talk about it beforehand and how we're partnering with the Junior League of Lufkin or the Winnie Berry Humane Society, whatever that is. And then we're going to do the event. We're going to do all the social media, the emails leading up to it. We're going to have our volunteers show up to it, our employees. We're going to help them work it. We're going to have our booth and fantastic, our great swag items. And then we're going to do an after press release, okay? That we're going to talk about how successful it was. So we were able to raise $5,000 for this organization, or we were able to donate 352 backpacks to local kids in need. We were able to do whatever that might be. So talk about it beforehand and then also afterhand, okay? Local news stations, the TV, the radio, they're looking for human interest, local type things to do this for, okay? And if you already have that relationship with them because you're buying your mass media with them, they will gladly do that for you, okay? That's how you can work and massage that relationship, but also get some more community support out of it, but how it's also helping your company in the long run, okay? So I know back to school is coming up. You're going to be getting ready down here in the South. Kids are going back in August, early August. I know up north it's more times September, but be thinking about how can you do some fun back to school giveaways. So in our area, they do a local convocation, a teacher convocation. So the week before school actually lets in, they bring in all the teachers, all the staff, and it's basically just like a giant hype party. Okay. So I was speaking about that company that was pink. What if he did a erase the list and all the graphics include that pink eraser, like the classic pink eraser, you know what I'm talking about? And so we're going to erase the list. And so everything that's on her Amazon wish list, that teacher's Amazon wish list, we're going to buy it. Okay. And then at this convocation, I'm passing out pink erasers, getting teachers to enter in their information and submit their wish list. I could also do it on social media, nominate a teacher, submit a teacher who would have her wish list cleared. I know in our area, every single person that's a teacher has their Amazon wish list. Okay. It's everywhere. Okay. Find it, tap into it, help them. It's going to a good cause and you're making it somewhat on brand. At the actual convocation, like what if you had a giant like cutout with like a hole in the middle that was a giant pink eraser, okay? And then that's what's helping people like, hey, have you signed up for the erase the list? We're clearing teachers' Amazon wish list to stock their classroom. You can't help but notice that giant eraser walking around, okay? And then when I see everyone with those pink erasers in their hand and stuff, that's how I've made it branded, but then that's how I'm going all in. And that's how I'm still doing good community support by clearing this list for the teachers, okay? But be very intentional when you do giveaways or things like that. How can you collect all the other submissions so it's not just the winner? Okay, so we really want you to get those people on your email list. So if they're submitting for it, we're going to gather their email so that we can further touch point with them. But then when their name isn't drawn, we're going to follow up and send them a thanks for submitting. You aren't the winner, but here's a $50 off a tune-up. Or here's a gift card to the local bookstore for you to buy some more books. Okay. You could do it towards your company or even something different, but it's cultivating that relationship and it's maximizing the exposure to where you don't have just one winner, one touch point, but you have it for every single person that submitted. Okay. Maybe you tap into the school. So if the school has been, super crucial in that, or they allowed you to come on site or whatever, how can you type into their database to send out emails or text messages, things like that? Okay. So make sure you're maximizing it, coming up with a fun name. So the pink eraser, clear the list, that kind of ties into that branding company that has pink. Maybe it's something that's around an alliteration. So like a Bailey's Big Backpack Bash or something. So like that's a way to put a clever spin on it with some alliteration. Maybe it's hey, we're going to fill the truck. So we're going to have one of our pickup trucks that's wrapped and branded, and we're going to fill it up with school supplies, with dog food, whatever that is. Maybe you're going to do a books for bookings. Okay. So we're going to do a special tune-up offer. And every tune-up that we book this month, we're going to donate a book to a local school or to a teacher of your choice, a classroom of your choice. Okay. Finding something that's relevant and happening now. So like back to school is happening now. How can you spend that towards your company and also do some good? Okay. Maybe you're going to like fund the trades program that's at your local high school or community school, things like that. What can you do? Can you buy all of their uniforms, or can you buy the equipment that they're going to be tinkering on, or can you donate that? That's fantastic. It's something that you're probably very passionate about. You're wanting to encourage these high schoolers or these entry-level college people that they don't always have to go to a four-year university. Okay. This is still a great career field for them. How can you help maximize and support that and support these schools that are taking advantage of that? Okay. And then maximize it. Do a press release about it. That should be all over social media. Okay. Get a giant check printed, and whatever it costs to go to a check presentation and take pictures, get balloons. Okay. Have the kids come in and they're going to take the picture with you. Okay. This is ways of how you're maximizing what your spend is going to be. Okay. We're taking it to the next level and being very intentional about it. So find something that's your brand story. But there's also ways of how you can empower your team. Okay. So you might start to say no to some things, but another way that you can still support a lot more causes is giving a stipend or an allowance for each of your employees. So you could say, hey, we support the Alzheimer's Association, and we're going to own that aspect, and we're going to have the purple truck, and we're going to do a big event on the longest day of the year, and we're going to do that. But like, I know you guys have other causes that are very important to you. So we're going to give each employee a $200 allowance, so that if you're at the baseball field and they're trying to raise money to buy a new banner to put on their new field, hey, I can get that, guys. My company, we can do the $200 to buy that banner. That's no problem. Okay. They already know that. If it's the barbecue place that the church is selling for the youth camp fundraiser. Okay. Hey, I'm going to buy 25 plates for here in my office, or for my husband's office, or for the school district. I'm going to buy that teacher's classroom. Hey, I've already got the $200 covered. Okay. That's ways that you can empower your employees, that they can make that call. They're not going to have to get it approved by a manager. They're not going to have to jump through all the hoops. They already know they can have that $200 or 100 or 500, whatever that is for you. Go ahead and factor that into your budget and give them that power. But then it also shows that like things that are important to them are also important to you because they're important to you. Okay. A little bit like that goes a long ways. Okay. So, now that it's June, all the fall things are coming up. All the events are happening and all the sponsorships. Now is the time that you need to really be thinking about, what am I going to focus on and what am I going to spend my energy and time and money into? Okay. So there's a few things you need to think about. Does it align with my brand story? Does it align with our mission? Can I tie it back to my brand through the colors or through a spin on the wording, things like that? Will I make good connections from it? Is this a nonprofit that's like up and happening and popping in our community? Or is it like, it's one that's dying and struggling and like, we hope they make it, but like, we don't want to be on that sinking ship with them. Okay. So how can you make good connections, kind of be in that wheelhouse of people that know people or people that are doing good things or people that would become great customers? And then is it something that your team is interested in? So we know automatically that we're going to support events and fundraisers and nonprofits that our own employees are board members on. Okay. Like we said, we're going to show up with volunteers. We're going to show up with the tent. We're going to have the creative, unique swag items and really get creative with them. Like, we're a slice above the rest, and you're going to hand out pizza cutters, something that people will actually go home and use. Or we've got the sweetest comfort, and here's our candy bowl that we're going to pass out at the fall bash, at the, trunk or treat at the local church, things like that. Okay. But also put a spin on your sponsorships. Okay. Please do not be just a gold sponsor and you get a banner on the wall. Okay. That is not the way to maximize a sponsorship. You just give the money, and maybe you even do have a person show up. How can you curate that and be creative? Okay. Nonprofits will welcome that. They will be like, oh my gosh, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Okay. So I know a lot of events that are kind of popular in each community is like a casino night. I know Angelina Beautiful Clean here in our organization, they do a casino night. So how could you put a spin? So like, don't leave your comfort to chance, or maybe you want to be the like roulette sponsor or the craps sponsors. Like, don't roll the dice on your comfort, coming up with some creative ways of how you can spin that to your brand. Or every community has a race going on, some type of fun run, a marathon, something like that. You want to be the warm up pre-race or something, or maybe even the cool down tent. So you're going to warm up with McWilliams and Son and cool down with McWilliams and Son. Our comfort is here to keep you comfortable year round. We want our truck to be the pacer. So a wrapped truck that's your vehicle, they're going to lead the race and all the runners are going to follow after them. Okay. And then if you have a mascot, the mascot is going to be the one to actually put the medal on all the winners and every finisher and things like that. That is such good photo opportunities and ways that you already have all these things. You already have the mascot. You already are spinning this for this nonprofit, and we're going to be creative in that. So maximize it. Okay. Every single person that crosses that finish line is going to be posting it on social media. And you know who they're going to be standing right next to? Your mascot with your logo. Okay. Because you just gave them that medal. Okay. How fantastic is that? Okay. I know another thing that like you can think about is how do your employees really engage with it? So there's an event here in our town, the Lufkin Bistro. And so that's where they shut down First Street and in the happening of downtown. They put tables in the middle of the street. They have cool lights hanging. All the shops are open after hours in downtown. And there's just food and wine lining the streets. And so you can browse, get a little sampling here, get a little wine here, and then mingle into this store and buy a few things. So it's super fun. Sells out every single year within a day. Okay. Like you really have to like know somebody to get in on it. Okay. What if you already knew this and you pre-bought a table and you're going to award that to your team? Like that's a coveted thing that your team would love to go to with their wife, with their husband. They want to go on a date night to the Lufkin Bistro, but they can never get an in on it. Okay. Go ahead and buy that table. And how can you award that to your employees? Okay. And maybe it's not the top producer or the one that brings in the most money. They get celebrated often. How can it be the rookie of the year, the newcomer of the year, or the Mrs. Sunshine Award? Okay, she is always smiling. She never has a bad day. I'm going to award her 2 tickets to this, and I'm going to award the rookie of the year 2 tickets to this. Make it kind of non-traditional winnings or titles, if you will, so that you can incorporate your whole team. Maybe it is just your leadership team, okay, or maybe it is just your top performer, but you can be creative and not exclude the others. Okay. The leadership team goes to a lot. They're going to lots of the banquets and things like that. But how can you include the other team? That coveted thing that they wanted, you're going to be able to offer that and provide them that. Okay. So you don't always have to say yes, but when you do, make it personal and intentional, make it branded and make it matter. Okay. So we're kind of segmenting off of ways that your employees might find some events or how you can segment some money to what would appeal to your employees. So now we're going to talk about employee engagement a little bit more. Okay. Have you heard this saying, happy wife, happy life? It's kind of true. Okay. The people in the background here, they're smiling. They're like, that's it. That's the motto. And in reality, there is a lot of truth to that. Okay. So working in this HVAC field and in this plumbing field, it's not easy. Okay. Especially right now, especially in July. They're waking up and they're out of the house before the sun rises. Okay. And they're coming home hot and sweaty and tired after the kids have already gone to bed. Okay. And they're missing out on the baseball games on Saturday because there's an emergency call or they're on call this weekend. They're missing out on the baseball games. It's hard. Okay. And there's a lot to said of how we need to treat the employees and compensate the employees and keep them happy and stuff. But there's also a lot to appreciating the family and the spouses of your team members. Okay. When she understands the value and when she understands his why and she knows that what he's doing is meaningful and impactful, she's so much more supportive of him. Hey, I know this is a season, but fall is going to come and then we'll be back to our normal things and things will be good. Okay. Summer sucks. You're never here. It's always gone. But I know that my husband's company appreciates the work that he does. I know that the hours that he puts in, it matters and it's meaningful. Okay. So be thinking of ways that you can do family or spouse appreciation. Okay. The kids don't go unnoticed either. So maybe you're going to plan like a water park day. Okay. If you're a super large company, you might be able to rent out the entire water park. If you can't rent out the entire water park, could you rent out a cabana or two that will create some designated space for your employees? Invite the whole family. Okay. Have them bring their kids, their grandkids if they're older. If they don't have kids, have them bring a niece or a nephew. Make it the biggest to do. Okay. Have custom things printed for the kids. Like, hey, we're going to give out new Frisbees with our logo just for the kids, or here's these custom branded towels. Make it special. Get invites printed. Okay. Like an actual invitation that's like in an envelope that you're going to like mail to their home. Okay. Make it a big to deal. Don't be like, yeah, we got that thing on Saturday. Y'all gonna come? Huh? Like, make it like this is for you. We are going all out. All the food and drinks are covered. We're going to have balloons lining the entrance. You're going to be greeted with a welcome gift for you and your kids. We're going to end the night with a special popsicle celebration because we've popped off the top of summer. Make it very special. Make it very intentional. A water park is a super fun and easy way to do a family thing. Maybe it's even like renting out the baseball field or buying a box at the baseball stadium. And maybe it's not even like the major leagues, but maybe there's a minor league, in your town or area, giving them an experience that they might not normally experience or ever have the opportunity to do will be super cool. Okay. Especially if you're like in that all-star sports related theme, or if that aligns with what you support communally. How can you maximize that and take your team to the baseball stadium? Okay. Get those little soft foam rubber bats printed, present them with the kids, same type concept, have all the food out everywhere. Okay. Make it nice, have it catered in, or just bring in pizza, just do something, but make it a big deal. Send out the invitations, post it in your internal Facebook groups. A lot of the wives will have their own little group, post it in there and regularly. Okay. Have multiple touch points. Okay. The more you make it feel like a big deal, the more they will make it feel like a big deal and they will appreciate it. Okay. You can also just do a strictly like a spouse appreciation. Okay. So maybe and literally how you do this is by excluding the kids. Okay. So maybe you're going to provide a babysitting night and you're like, what the crap? How am I going to do that? Well, like I've actually seen it done. Like you'd be surprised. So like, it's perfectly set up to house a lot of kids and that has activities and is large enough and things like that. A church. So like, do you go to church? Do you have a relationship with someone that goes to a church that has a nice kids area, that has a big screen where you can maybe play a movie, or they do have some hula hoops and balls and things like that to where you could orchestrate some activities for the kids and the church workers there, they've already been background checked and approved. Could you hire them to babysit for 4 hours on a Friday night so your employee and their spouse can go on a date night? Hey, we got the kids covered. We're going to bring in pizzas. They're going to run around and have a great time. You guys go do whatever you want to do, but we got this part covered. Okay. You want to talk about a spouse appreciation, how she's going to feel valued. I know the hours are long for my husband, but like the company recognizes that and they want to take care of us. That's going to go a long ways. Okay. You could also just do like a spa night. So like, depending on the size of your team might dictate some of these ideas, but hey, we're going to reserve this after hours spot at the spa. And so we're going to have everyone line up to get pedicures, or maybe it's nails, whatever it's like that. Maybe it's massages or facials, things like that. Helping you relax after the brood of summer, things like that. One thing that McWilliams and Son did that was super successful was doing a shopping night. Okay. So they partnered with a local boutique downtown. They got each spouse a $50 gift card, and then got them a custom shirt. They met at the office, had some snacks, things like that. And they're like, okay, ladies, now we're going to load up and go downtown. Here's your $50 gift card. You can buy whatever you want in the store. And then anything after that, they just buy themselves. Well, the boutique was super happy about it. Okay. They had guaranteed $50 gift cards that was coming in from what you just bought and gave, but then also some people bought a little bit extra. So they had no problem staying open a little bit later. They're like, yes, we'll provide some champagne glasses and have champagne for you guys when you arrive. We'll put a sign out that says closed for a private event, things like that. They would be thrilled to do that. And you're partnering locally, and it's meaning something very special to your spouses. Okay. That is an event that they still talk about. Okay. And that is an event that when things are getting rough and like it's been a day, it's been a week, the kids are out of control, I'm the one shuffling everything and stuff. My husband, he's out working. Those are the things that they will remember. Okay. And they will be a lasting and help make it worth it. Okay. Maybe it's kind of having a pulse on what's interesting to your spouses. So charcuterie boards are our jam up in here. Okay. Like anytime there's an opportunity for charcuterie, we were like, oh, we need a charcuterie board. But we knew a lot of the spouses really like that as well. So we're like, hey, the girl that always does our charcuterie boards, what if she did a little like how to? So like we brought her to the office and she made like these little mini plates for them each to do. We got little custom boards made that had the logo on there. So they had their own little mini cutting board, and then she had the variety of food. And then she just showed them like, here's how I cut it to make this special, unique look. And then like, here's how I roll the salami to make it look like a rose and things like that. And so all of a sudden they're just having fun. They're just having girls' night. They're just engaging with the other women in their lives. But it's something that's impactful to them, and it shows that appreciation. Okay. And then they take home the cutting board and they enjoyed the yummy food. Okay. It's great. So think about how you can appreciate not only your employee, but their families and their spouses. Okay. Make it a big deal. Don't wait until Christmas. Okay. Don't be like, well, we go all out for Christmas and the Christmas party costs a lot. When you're in it, when you're in that strife, when you're like wanting a pick me up, like you need that kind of now. So start planning on that now in July for the end of August, early September. Okay. Once they've gone through that brunt, don't wait until December. Don't lump it in with the Christmas. Okay. Make it its own special event, make it appeal and ease the pain of the brunt and the brute that you're in right now. Okay. So, appreciating your employees and their families and their spouses can go a long ways. Fall is full of the community events, and ending out of summer, you need to do it at early fall to do some type of spouse appreciation or employee appreciation. So start planning that now. Okay. Don't wait on it. The more special you can make it is the more prepared and planned out for it you can be. Okay. If you're just going to think about it and just start telling people about it, hey, next Friday, we're going to do this. It already seems less important and seems less of a big deal. So start planning for it now. Save the date, even just send out save the date cards for it right now. Okay. More details to come. Okay. You're building up to it, creating this big thing, and it's going to feel so much more impactful. Okay. And then I want to segue into, oh, I'm sorry. I'm really bad about these slides. I promise it'll be better next time. But here's a saying that has really resonated with me as a business owner. You deserve what you tolerate. You get what you reiterate and you keep what you celebrate. So when you allow that bad culture, when you allow those bad work habits, when you allow those things, when you tolerate it, you put up with it, you don't address it, you deserve it. Okay. That's what you get. When they're just being junk, that's what you deserve. Okay. When you get the results of what you're constantly reiterating. So are we reiterating the customer journey? Are we reiterating the importance of every single touch point? Are we reiterating, how a friendly smile goes a long ways, how it makes that impact? When you reiterate that, that's what you will get. But the lasting part of this is you keep what you celebrate. So everyone needs technicians. Everyone is always looking to hire people. Everyone hates it when someone so quits. But when you celebrate that person, when you celebrate their family, that's what you're going to keep. Okay. That's what's going to last. And that's what's going to win out. Okay. So you keep what you celebrate your team. All right. So I want to dive in, take that. We're going to take a little hard U-turn right here. Okay. And I want to talk about some branding refreshes. Okay. And you're like, this is weird. Like, why are we talking about this right now in July? In reality, it's a great time. Okay. We can start this design process so that you can freshen things up in the fall. So I mentioned we had some, like, this past weekend, yesterday was 4th of July. We had the weekend right before that. So we had some time to do some things around the house. Okay. Little things. Okay. Things that we've been like putting off for a while, but like now's the time. We have several days. We're going to do that. Here's something to celebrate. We no longer have child-proof safety locks on the cabinets as of yesterday. Okay. So we've had little kids for a long time. We had 3 back to back to back. The youngest one is 3. I don't think she's going to be like drinking bleach anytime soon. She's going to write on the walls and the furniture. But so we removed the cabinet locks last night. Okay. That was fantastic. It's like, yay, little things. But also what we were doing in that honey to-do list was just like, we built this new cabinet and we need a new piece of wood thing to put behind it. And so we're painting it the color of the wall. And so while we had the gallon of paint out, we're just like doing these little touch-ups, just, as you've lived in a house, just a little nick happens here and a little nick happens there. And so we just went around with the paint and just touched up these few little things. Nothing major. We didn't change the color of the walls. When we bought the house 8 years ago, we did a whole remodel then and stuff, but what we're doing this weekend was just little touches. He got the stain out and just kind of touched up the little nicks in the cabinets. And I worked in the kitchen. I was like, man, like, did we, like, the house cleaner she didn't come this week? Like, what? He's like, well, I just touched up the paint here and here, and I just touched up the cabinets. Like, that made a world of difference. Like, who would have ever thought? Like, I would have never thought that this little touch of paint or just doing this simple little thing, and we got a new cabinet, we moved it out to the other space. It's like, that looks really good there. Why have we had it over there this whole time? We just moved it, and it's like, that looks great right there. And it serves so much better purpose. We made these small little refreshes, and it was relatively painful, but it had a super big impact. Okay. And so when we start talking about branding or rebranding, it's like, hold the phone. Okay. I don't want to have to rewrap all my trucks. Okay. That's the first thing you'll say. I don't want to rewrap the trucks. That's the one thing. But there's some ways that we can refresh your brand or refresh your logo to make you look more modern and more relevant without you having to completely scrap everything you've done before. There's ways that we can continue to phase in the new brand and the new wraps. So this vehicle was already up for a rewrap. It's 5 years old, 3 years old, depending where you live. It's up for one. We're going to rewrap that one. Okay. The colors are still the same feel and essence of the company is the same. We haven't changed that about the company, but it all of a sudden looks new and fresh, like, oh, and then that's the picture that when we're taking pictures, that's the truck when we're taking pictures, we're going to use that new truck. Okay. And then we do have to buy one. It's already in the budget. So like that one's going to get the new wrap. Okay. There's simple changes you can do to simply refresh it and make it better, and it'll go a world of difference. So here was one we did for Infinity Texas Air. You can see their before logo in the top left corner, and we just refreshed it. Okay. They still have the Infinity sign. They still have the red and blue, but they have a cleaner font. It looks more modern. They look more up to date. And then it just provided an opportunity for us to carry out that branding so much more. So before, when they had the Infinity Texas Air Maintenance Club program, with this new brand, we've now made it Duke's Legacy Club. Okay. The word legacy goes with the word infinity, that type of thing. And we made this super clean and modern look. And so we're going to make the silhouette of the dog, make it a silhouette versus like a hunky-dory character, that type of thing. It matches their brand. And now's the time that we can refresh that maintenance club program. So we're going to donate $5 to the Humane Society with every program that we sell. Okay, that's right in line with Duke's. It's a pause for a cause. Okay, pause like the hand. Okay. But it's all of a sudden provided this refresh, this little facelift, this like, oh, what's happening over there at Infinity Texas Air? Like, oh, you good. Okay. Another example of that, McWilliams and Son. So one thing that McWilliams and Son has been very proud of is they've been in business since 1974. They're a third generation company. They grew up in the trades. And so you can see their before logo that had the three faces of the three generations there in the top left. But that's great. And, Trey is the third generation now, and he's the owner. And there's some weirdness for him when like people are like, oh, that's you. Like I see your trucks everywhere. Like they think they know him because they see his face and things like that. And so we wanted to slowly start to tell this story of Sailor Mac. So Sailor Mac was the grandfather who started the business. He served in the Navy as a sailor. That's where he learned the trade of refrigeration there in the Navy. And so then when he retired and moved back home, he started opening up his own business. And so we wanted to tell that story of Sailor Mac. Okay. So we had to modify the logo a little bit to give more prominence to who Sailor Mac is, how he's not this secondary character. He's the figure that's in the three faces that you see already in the three generations. But then that also offers us the opportunity to really build up our mascot, Sailor Mac, if you will. Okay. So can we look at that back on the screen again, please? So the three faces was what had been so recognizable. And we kept that and we just refreshed it, kind of put it in a new little modern shape, the logo in a circle, same font, updated the colors a little bit, and we added the Armada hat to him. So then we know, oh, he's a sailor. Okay. Nothing drastically changed. We don't think that the company's gone out of business and now someone new is taking over, whatever. It's just, oh, okay. It's just a simple little refresh. Okay. We don't have to completely scrap everything that's been done before. We're just going to enhance and move it forward so that we can tell our story a lot better. And now that they've implemented Sailor Mac, you know what kind of community support they do? Anything for veterans, anything that ties to the Navy. Okay. So look for something how that could be incorporate into your brand story. You might actually have that as a part of your brand story without having to create it or invent it, but you could support the Wounded Warrior Association, the VFW, the Wreaths Across America. Okay. Those are all ways that you can tie it back to your brand. Okay. So we kept the trucks simple, just updated the colors a little bit in the layout, but nothing drastic. It was just simply a refresh, and it's made a world of difference. And then here's another one. Advantage Heating and Cooling. So there was their logo in the top left. They've always had kind of a modern vibe. They like the swooshes and kind of that eccentric font, if you will, but it was always just like stuck like that. Like there was no manipulatability to it. Okay. And so what a good brand can do for you is provide different ways to lay it out on different types of material. So how does it look on a hat versus embroidered here, to how does it print on a pin versus when it's going on a billboard? When you're always locked in that long skinny rectangle, it makes it very hard to do something inside of a circle. Like if I have to print a circle sticker or something like that, it makes it very hard I need to print something on the back of the shirt. And I really want it big, but like I've only got this much width and like it's only that tall. Like there's nothing else I can do to it. So one thing we wanted to do for them is like keep those same swooshes, keep that same coolness, keep those same colors, but how can we make it to where it can be moldable and manipulatable? So you'll see right below it, we have the regular standing logo, but then we have a stacked logo to where the A is on top. It's not incorporated into the word like how it was originally. It still looks very on brand. It's not a different company. It's still very identifiable and recognizable, but I have more variations of it now. And then what is just my A symbol? Okay. That looks super cool and clean on a hat. Okay. I've got the full logo here on my shirt, but I've got a simplified version on the hat. Okay. When you go through a refresh, you can still keep those same elements, but enhance it and make it better. So maybe you've always recognized like, my logo is just like always stuck like this, or maybe you even have a circle logo, like it's always stuck in a circle and I can't do anything else about it. Like whenever I print it on a pen, it's like this big. Okay. Doing a brand refresh can help you find those moldable and manipulatable elements so that you can take it to the next level. Okay. It gives you more variety and can just help give it a facelift. Okay. Little changes make a huge difference. So you can make it look so much better, just like how our paint was looking so much better. I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't tell like, oh, they added a hat to the logo or we painted that crack on the wall. It's just those little nudges that create a little head turn and is very memorable. Okay. So now's a good time to do that because hopefully you should start to have a little bit more cash coming in. Okay. We're going through the busy season. You're feeling good. Okay. Now might be a time that you could invest in that and then work up these designs right now so that come the fall, we already have the design set, what it's going to change to, what it's going to mold to. Okay. You can go ahead and segment out some money and some dollars, but then also some time slots for you to do that rebrand. Okay. Again, this is going to create some new buzz. Remember how we talked about on that sliding scale? How can we make positive buzz or PR that's going to impact that? Definitely take advantage of that. Create some positive buzz that'll always outweigh the negative. And that's a great thing to talk about in your emails. Okay. So I know this has been a lot of information, kind of just diving it all in there. The chat is open. So if anybody has any questions, but just want to take this opportunity to thank you guys. We appreciate you for the past 3 months. This does conclude our this Juiced series. We will be doing Juiced, another series ramping up, and there's going to be a new price. There's going to be some new features. Okay. We want to give you guys a discount of what the new price is going to be because you're an existing juicer, things like that. So be watching. We're going to be posting about it lots on social media, but then there will also be an email right after this recording. Okay. It's going to have a survey. We would love your feedback. Okay. Please let us know what we could do better. Please let us know what type of content you enjoyed or what type of content you would want to hear from. Okay. Please be open and honest. We welcome the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. Leave that feedback. We'd really appreciate it. And we're going to be giving out gift cards. Thanks a latte gift cards to Starbucks, to anyone who fills out that survey. So be watching for that. There will also be a recording of this and then also details about our next Juiced series. So we're going to have some concentrated juiced sips, if you will, to where we might focus completely on community events or completely on social media. This Juice series was to provide you all the real-time things, all the things as it relates to the month, but we've got some more things planned and things like that. So we'd love for you to be a part. We'd love to hear your feedback, and thank you guys. We appreciate you so much. Bye.